Miles, you gotta put that toy away. What's up, guys? Let me make sure. Get this freaking hang on, this is not working. The chat box up. Oh, it is up. How do I get back? Oh man, here we go. This technology. Alright, cool. This should be good. Miles. Alright, my bad. My son is playing next to me, so if you hear like little kids noise and stuff, it's definitely him. What's up, guys? It's your boy Eddie Sandler coming at you live today again with another Team Talks episode. Today we will be deep diving into the realm of black cards, right? But I'm not gonna lie, I don't think this is gonna be a one video, one and done, because there's a lot to dive in on. So this will probably be part one of a, I want to say at least 3-part video, because in my opinion, I can't say two. The top 3 black decks are Vajek, Dark Broly, and Mecca. So I want to touch on at least those 3 decks going into it, because I have a feeling you'll be seeing a lot of those decks, right? So yeah. So the first part of this video, we're going, since we have the luxury of OBS, we are going to discuss the fundamentals of black cards. All right. So leader cards. Let's do this. I love Apex decks. The way that you could like filter through colors and multicolors, and they have that random hand organizer, which is just like Liddy McTitty, dude. So let's look at it, right? Oh, it's funny. Look, the top 3 leaders that are right here. That's freaking hilarious, man. That's super, super hilarious. So, anyways, pretty much these are the top 3 leaders I want to focus on. There are multiple other leaders that can possibly do well in this format. Once again, this is my dark horse from set 13. You also have the Gogeta Zeno, but in my opinion, Gogeta Zeno kind of got shafted with this leader, right? Because this leader can do what Gogeta Zeno is trying to do, but better, because you also have access to the Vajek's line. And one of my last picks also for black will be I'm just taking that past it. It's right here. Hatchak with the Sin Seeker rare. I can expect to do some big things. Yeah. But without further ado, let's get into the delicacies of black. So, black, right? Specifically, what makes black broken, it's when you really start getting into black Saiyan leaders. Reasoning being is because you have access to the one true fighting spirit, Son Goku himself, which is absolutely busted. Let's just pull this bad boy. Oh, I gotta select the leader first. Let's just pull this bad boy up, right? All right, cool. Select leader. I did a little dance over there for me. So select leader. So let's go over it real quick. Son Goku True Fighting Spirit. It's a 1-drop deflect. Has 2 autos. First auto is add 1 card from your life to your hand. When this card attacks, it gains 10k power for the turn. The second auto is what makes it kind of wild. They're gonna fish with titties. It's a auto once per turn. If your leader is a black Saiyan card, when your opponent activates a counter skill, they choose 1 card from their hand and send it to the warp. So yes, it is a once per turn thing, but when you, I guess I'll get into that in a little bit. The most efficient way to use these cards is when you're going in for a turn where you know they have to negate, right? It's different because Vajeks is weird. Vajeks, they don't really care, because if you get board right with Vajeks, and that'll be a video for itself, they'll just get it back with Power Burst. But other Black Saiyan leaders, such as Miles, other Black Saiyan leaders, such as Dark Broly itself, when I play Dark Broly, I play 4 of these. I don't really just use them lottie-dottie everybody, you know what I'm saying? Where I'm going in and I know I'm going to kill him, and the only way for him to stop me is to violently raise me or hit some kind of negates, I drop a stack of these bad boys down. So if they violently raise me, they're going to lose Buku cards, and it's pretty much going to be a game for them. Because if I drop a minimum at 2, but realistically speaking, if you know you're gonna have that kill turn, you want to start stacking them on so you can have at least 3 or 4. Because I play 4 of these bad boys in my deck. So if you get 2 to 3, you'll be in a solid position. Because the Violent Raise will discard itself, a card from its hand, and these 2 will also make you warp a card. So they lose 4 cards net just off 2 of these bad boys going down at the same time. Now, when you pair that with other black cards such as the Migra, because the Migra is a universal card for all black cards, right? It's not just Ravager, because I know I like to use the Ravager example a lot because I play a lot Dark Broly. When you abuse things such as the Migra first, swinging for that, and you establish some true fighting spirits on board, it gets really nasty because the Migra, let's get into it real quick. As an Overwhelm 5 and Dark Overwhelm 5, tap 2 energy, it doesn't matter what color it is. When this card is played using Overwhelm or Dark Overwhelm, draw a card, then choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and send it to the owner's warp. This is really, really, really clutch. It's clutch because there's no restriction, right? It's any card, period. Obviously, that doesn't have barrier, but you choose a card, and it doesn't matter what cost it is, you just warp it. Super, super good. Now, the ongoing, I guess, success for this card really goes with on top of the border move it has on initial play. It's the second auto it has, which is when this card attacks, your opponent chooses one card in their hand and sends it to their warp. Now, what makes this thing really broken is essentially they need a spot removal card instantly to stop this. Now, colors such as blue, they're not going to have an instant spot removal for this card. Now, not only are they giving a card every single time this guy attacks, in order to KO the Migra, it's a 30k base body. So now you're going to have to sit there and literally have on spot removal in your hand, card in your hand, or try to combo away. And when you combo, you're gonna start losing cards anyway. So realistically speaking, let me see. So realistically speaking, the Migra is just eating cards from your opponent. Really, really, really solid card. I'm gonna get to that in a little bit, but right now I just want to hit the silver bullets for black. That was just an example of the things you can do and go crazy. Now, this guy is not really restricted, right? We have the OG Dark Power Black Man saying 2 autos. When this card attacks, or when you attack with this card, you may add 1 card from your light to your hand. If you do, this card gains 10k power for the duration of the turn. That's the first auto. Second auto is when your opponent plays a battle card with 15k power or less using a non-keyword skill, such as an auto, activate main, stuff like that. Stuff that is not red, green, like actual keywords like that stuff. Your opponent chooses 2 cards from their hand and places them in their drop area. Now, the biggest thing I want players to realize, like Dark Card Black by saying, I don't think they realize is that second auto is not once per turn and it's not limited. So let's say if you're going against something such as Android 21 that loves to give you tokens, right? So what's gonna happen is when that that 21 fill spell, when it gives you 2 tokens, this thing is gonna trigger for each token. So your opponent's gonna lose 4 cards. This triggers, it's not once per turn, guys. Once it happens, you keep going, you keep going, you keep going, you keep going. Now, just like I did with the Mecca Frieza last video, I'm going to do it the same one. Yes, these cards are broken, but there are ways to play around it. For instance, let's say you're playing red and you're playing Topo. If you burn your hand previously to, I guess that's a bad example because Topo is a 20k and Topo is a counter. Okay, let's say you're playing red and you're playing like the Earthlings, right? So the Earthlings, let's say you're going to bring out a Spike or whatever it is that's under 15k or less. Now, since it's under 15k or less and it's being played that's without a keyword skill, its second auto would trigger, which would force your opponent to choose 2 cards from their hand and place it in the drop area. So the way it's ruled is if you have no cards in your hand, you can still do that. Because what happens is this doesn't require you to do this before. It's something that has to happen afterwards. So realistically speaking, if you're trying to go for a game, whatever situation you're in, you can get around Dark Power Black Man saying. Not to mention the fact that I'm pretty sure Bandai fixed it. Like they future-proofed everything. Like King Vegeta, right? King Vegeta has a built-in removal for this card specifically because this card specifically would direct them. Dark Broly had the Piccolo Junior Mutant come out. A lot of decks have answers to this. Not King Vegeta. King Piccolo doesn't really have an inherent answer to this. They're gonna have to neg two and just neg this by 10k to get off the board because they can't just really let you establish on board, right? Now the thing with this card is when you have cards that could abuse it, such as Vejax, it becomes an issue because yes, it's easy to remove, but then you could play it right back just as easy as it got removed from the game. Um, Biggest thing on this, once again, it's not once per turn. And another thing that both these guys have in common, they're both self-awakeners. All right, moving on to the next. Let me just see if I can do this by cost. Can we do this by cost? They do this by popularity. Let's do it by cost because all these guys are one drops. Whee! We're getting to the goodies. Those are the goodies. Ooh, look at my boy right there chilling. Imagine if these guys could attack. What in the world? Man. This would be life. Moving on to the next Mr. Silver Bullet. It's going to be... I passed him because I'm at 2 drops. Ding, ding, ding! The next True Fighting Spirit, Vegeta. So we have Vegeta True Fighting Spirit. This is really for blue decks, right? Blue decks such as Soul Striker, blue decks such as this specifically Soul Striker gets wrecked by this. Also, SS both Goku decks get super wrecked by this, but it's not just restricted to those leaders, correct? What's gonna happen is even if you do it with counter plays as well. So D Magic, we scored whatever it is. If you untap something, let's get into the auto first. So I can explain it afterwards. The same thing as Goku, right? Essentially. Whereas it has a deflect and it has 2 autos. The first auto is the same where you can add 1 card from your hand. When this card attacks, it gains 10k power for the turn. Now the second auto is different, but it's good in the sense that it allows you to the decks that such as blue, right? Blue, Dark Power Black Man Saiyan is not that relevant in. So you can easily swap out Dark Power Black Man Saiyan for Vegeta True Fighting Spirit. Now, the reason why I say that is because we're going to this effect right now. Auto once per turn. If your leader card is a black Saiyan card, when your opponent switches their energy to active mode with a non-awakened skill, they choose 1 card in their hand and send it to the warp. So, such cards that are popular currently are Senzu Bean, Dimension Magic. You have both Gokus, the SS3 Goku, the Soul Striker that restands 2 of its energy when it attacks. You have a plethora of cards that restand energy. So with this, it's just pretty plus because, okay, cool. Yes, they'll still be able to do it because it isn't completely shut them out. But it does tax them. And once again, if you understand it's going to happen, you're going to have to literally time it right and play these guys when it's crucial. Don't just slap them out just to slap them down. Because, once again, I'm going to give you the answers to these cards. Blue does have answers. The answers that blue have, let me put it up real quick. It is... Bum-ba-na-na. Where is he? Right here. Those blue decks that specifically suffer against these silver bullets, you have answers because yes, they are good. They have deflect, but they do not have barrier. So let's take a look at his Son Gohan and Piccolo skill sharpen. It's an energy exhaust, double strike, triple attack. Bust his stats, we don't care about that. We're looking at first activate main. Activate main, you tap 1 blue energy. If your leader card is blue or green, and you discard this card from your hand, you choose up to 2 of your opponent's battle cards with energy cost of 3 or less and place them at the bottom of their deck in any order. So this is why I tell you guys, you can't just slap these bad boys down, lottie-dottie everybody. Because if you do, when it gets to the crucial turn, like such as a blue baby player, right? When it gets to the crucial turn, they're going to say, okay, cool. The game's over, but it's going to bottom deck those guys because you just misplayed. Let them out there for me. I'm going to capitalize on your misplay. So, once again, what I do when I'm Dark Broly, I don't care about... I'm going to give you Dark Broly because it's the easiest example I could get, right? I don't care if they do anything turns 1, turn 2, but if I know I got them down, like I put pressure on them and I got them down, like I was just getting them down. Like they couldn't do anything, right? Once it's turn 3, I'm like, okay, I'm thinking in my head, specifically Baby, they have Baby Hatch. So, Baby Hatch is a real thing, but Baby Hatch is a neg too, because you lose Baby Hatch, and then you also have to discard a card. So that's when I start saying, okay, cool, they're at 4 life, they're at 3 life, they're going to have to start to negate here, because they're going to be able to out-combo these 30 kids. They don't play Zamasu, they play draw super combos and replacement super combos such as Zeno. So, I would slap these guys down in multiples. When I say multiples, like 2 or 3 at a time, because I know they literally have to negate me right then and there. that's when you want to do it. Because if I did this turn, one am I attacking with it, and I'm trying to protect it, it's a waste of my time. Because we're going to take that attack regardless. They're not going to negate the first swing. And if they do negate the first swing, it doesn't matter because they just lost a card from their hand. So it's already helping you out. Now, what you want to pair these bad boys with, I know I want to go see my face. I want to see the pop-up chat. Make sure I didn't get you guys' questions. All right. You guys do have questions. I'll take a break after I finish explaining. What you want to super pair this up with is with the Migro, once again, because what I do is when I'm going into my turn 2 against a certain deck, if you have this card, you have it. If you don't have it, you consider it different. But the way you want to like time it and do it perfect so you're good, you want to use a Demigra on turn 2. You'll swing. It's either A, they're not going to be able to deal with this. B, they did deal with it, and they give you a plethora of cards to deal with it. Because once again, they're not going to be awakened. And if they're awakened, that's beautiful. Because they just invested at least 2 super combos into this, or at least 1 super. Now, it had to be 2 super combos. Because you're not going to give me 2 super combos and 2 cards. You just lost 3 cards from your hand for no reason to get rid of 1 card. You're not going to do that, realistically speaking. So they're going to lose a plethora of cards in order to out this. But if they don't out it because it's just not efficient for them to out it, it's still going to be on board. Now you know it's really crucial for them to negate. So that's when you start dropping guys like this. That's when you start dropping guys like this. Because the reason being is like, okay, cool. You understand you forced him into position, and now you just have to watch him suffer for the consequences that you forced him to do. You see what I'm saying? Let's move on to the best black. And this is not restricted to Saiyans, right? Before we do that, actually, let me answer these questions because I don't want to fall behind. But next, we're going to move on to the best black silver bullet. That's not restricted. It's not even restricted to black, which is insane. Which is like, I'm dumbfounded. It's not restricted to black. I don't know why they did that. What's up, Lasting? What's up, Mike? What's up, Coop? Are there any cards? Are there any black cards I just suggest picking up? You'll find out in my Dark Road video. There are. For Vegeks, under the radar, I don't think there's under radar cards. Dark Broly, you will see an under radar card. I don't know why people aren't playing it. So it just hit me. I'm like, wait a minute, this card exists. Like, it's not that it exists. I knew it existed, but like the efficiency it has when someone tries to stun your turn and you can just do it right back to them, you're gonna be like, wow, that's really really powerful. Yeah, Vegeks is because you guys see my Vegeks. You guys never actually seen like my newest Dark Blade. You saw the one that I topped with at PvG, which you never saw where I worked with after leading up to set 13. Black cards that are underrated are just picking up the Kai. I think that if the Kai is still like if you can pick a Kai up, the negate Kai for like $5 to $6, I pick it up. Even though it's not as efficient and deadly as I thought it was, it's still by no means it's still a great like card. By no means I didn't say that to discourage you guys from playing it. It's still a great negate because yes, the overruns will come back, but you can still super stun your opponent that's trying to go for a game. So if I were to say a black card, it'd be that. Oh, another black card too. You'll find out in the Mecca Frieza deck. It's gonna be the Kings, the Kings, the Kings, the Kings, and that's why Black Sun Demon. I'll reveal it to you guys when I'm talking about Mecca Frieza. You can't play good. Like if you were to get matched up against Mecca Frieza, you would just instantly lose because your warp is gonna be full. You're gonna swing. I don't want to reveal these cards before I get to the actual deck itself. But there's a certain card that'll start counting your warp, and you're gonna start getting instantly burned, and it has the flex, so you can't even react with them. So you're gonna get punished with playing Gogeta Zeno. The thing about Vegeks, I don't think they'll get there in time in order to do that because they're either gonna die or win by then. But yeah, the kind of gate would probably be my pick though, because right now I don't know why I think it was sitting like at $5 to $6 last time I saw it. I definitely look into those cards and just pick them up because it's not. Don't forget, guys, the Kai. I'll double check before I say it, but I'm pretty sure the Kai is not restricted to black leaders. It's a universal negate. So let me double. Whoa, you guys did not see that. That was. Let me exit out of that. That was my King Vegeta list. You guys did not see that. Let me double check on these Kais real quick. Ding, 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 ding. They're not. Yeah, it's not restricted to black cards. Yeah, you're good. So instantly off rip, right? If you're playing against Vegeks and overrun turn 1, you have a 1-drop negate that Once again, this card is busted. Don't get it wrong. It's not super broken like I thought, but it's still good because going against Vegeks, if you have this, let's say in a blue deck, whatever it is, you can use this. You can target their Vegeta. You can target. I'll show it to you guys. You can target this Vegeta right here. Where is he? Where is he? You can target this Vegeta timing right here and warp him. Now, once he's gone, he's gone. He's not going to come back because once his leaves fill, what's going to happen is, right, the Vegeta, once it attempts to leave the fill, its permanent is going to kick off where it's going to send itself off to work because it's leaving the battle area. So that thing is just gone. Let me see. Yeah, it's a lot of good applications to the card. I'm not gonna lie. The card is still good. It's really unfortunate that those cards do come back though. And I'll share another reason why I just dropped the card, period. I caught up on all the questions. Let me see before I go to the next best one. Is Mecca very competitive? Yes, it is. It is competitive. Especially if black decks start to take off, Mecca will put those cards in check. All right, so I caught up to all these guys. I'm gonna show you why too. The Kai is not as good as I would like to play because if you're going against a black deck specifically for Jax, you'll also get super punished because the best current up to date, like right now, as of May 26, 2021, the best, you guys could probably guess it. I gotta do this for Apex deck so I can reset. The best current silver bullet is this bad boy. I don't know if it's a he, she, or it, but it's this beautiful thing. Koetsukai Mechanical Courage. Let's take a deep dive into this. Koetsukai Mechanical Courage. Activate main. Any color. It doesn't matter what it is. Tap 1 energy. Remove this card from your drop area from the game. Then choose up to 2 cards in your hand. Place them at the bottom of your deck in any order. Draw cards equal to the number of cards you've placed at the bottom of your deck with this skill. Then for the turn, if your opponent plays a battle card with 20k power or less, they choose not 1 but 2 cards from their hand and send them to the work. This card single-handedly will shut down, like I said in the last video, in my opinion, the most highly anticipated top deck of set 13, which is Mecca Frieza. They cannot play their deck because they're going to try to sit there, right? If you use Koetsukai, they'll try to sit there and say, okay, cool, is it even worth playing the Robotic Repress, which is not, because the reason why you're going to play that is because you want to play it, so then you got to attack again, then you tap something else, and then the Bergamo comes out, and then maybe you can follow up with a Poutine. If they were to do all 3 of those plays, they'll lose 6 cards. Well, technically, they lose more than 6 cards because those cards are replaying itself. So they lose 6 plus the 3 cards they gave us. So they lose 9 cards, right? Just doing it for a robotic arrest is still negative in itself because you got to lose 3 cards in order to just attempt to stop your opponent. And you're not going to even really stop them because in order for you to really stop them is for them to finish tapping you out. And they're not able to finish tapping you out unless they follow the robotic bus with a Bergamo if you continue to attack. But if they do that, they now have to lose another 3 cards. So now they net gain a net gain of -6 in order to attempt to stop you. That's so negative. That's like someone trying to push through Topo and they know they don't have enough combo power in their hand. Like when they end their turn, they just lose. Like, okay, cool. Imagine Jonathan did this to me when I played him at the PPG event like 3 events ago. I used 4. I think it was either 3 or 4 Koetsukai in a turn. So I'm like, okay, the only way he can stop me right now is literally a Topo. I'm pretty sure it was either 3 or 4. I used more than 2. I know that. I used 3 or 4 Koetsukai at a time. He Topo'd me and lost his entire hand. I just said, okay, pass. There's no way for me to lose. He has like 1 card in his hand that he's going to draw, and it's either he's going to charge or he's not going to charge you. That's it. So Koetsukai is a game breaker. Another game breaker with Koetsukai in itself is a up-and-coming deck by the name of Bojack. This right here just destroys Bojack. Like, they cannot play. It's so funny just watching them attempt to play the game. The only color I'm trying to think off the top of my head that Koetsukai just doesn't really do anything against is against black, which is the funny thing. Because against red, you have the Yamcha, the Barrage Yamcha, right? The counterplay Yamchas. You have Topo. You have a plethora of cards in red that'll come in and just start doing havoc. But the Koetsukai will slow them down. In blue, you have a bunch of shenanigans. You have the blue baby cards. They're not the Gohan servants, but like, I don't know if they still play Namekior, like the Bull, whatever negates they play, whatever counterplays. It's not just negates. Whatever battle cards they play on my turn, or not my turn, but on the current player's turn because it's not their turn, they're gonna pay the price on it. Yellow, I just told you, the only relevant yellow deck you expect to play Mecca Frieza, it shuts the deck down. From there, they're gonna have to rely on Power of the Saiyans, and then I honestly don't know what else because even with Power of the Saiyans, I guess it becomes a game with Power of the Saiyans and Final Flash, and they have to attempt not to like be at low life because they're at low life. It's just not going to work out for them. And I guess that's why I told you guys you should have at least a 2 split of a Zamasu super combo. So it would save you from a time when you get Koetsukai because I honestly don't see how that doesn't function with Koetsukai because you can't use any of your like all your battle cards are under 20. They're 20k or lower. Like your deck is just shut off. Against green, the most premier green deck right now, in my opinion, is King Cole. It's a weird spot. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's a really weird spot. Just other cards that I would recommend over Koetsukai, but Koetsukai, if I don't know why, you can see when it's coming, but I don't, it doesn't even matter when they use a counterplay, such as like King Cole, such as this. I mean, I guess when you know they're gonna use a new topo, the green topo, yeah, it would work. So in situations like that, but you should already have the advantage of it. It shouldn't be that difficult to manhandle that without Koetsukai. But Koetsukai will push you over the edge. Now against Black, the card is just energy. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's energy and straight 5k combo. It usually comes out 100% of the times against, especially the Vegex Mirror match. You don't do anything. Dark Broly doesn't do anything against Mecha Cabrera. Can do things because Mecha Cabrera does have a topo, so Mecha Cabrera does have some application in play there. I'm trying to think of other relevant Black decks. You can also use it against Hatchet because Hatchet also spams these one drop Goku. Where are they at? The one drop negate Gokus. They're somewhere here. I don't know. Oh, here they are, right here. They spam these bad boys like crazy. But the thing about it, I wouldn't really recommend you holding on to Koetsukais going into game 2 and 3. If you go to game 3, game 1, if it's in your main board, it is what it is. But games 2 and 3, don't do it because if they're really smart, they would just play their Gokus a turn ahead or a turn behind, and then now when you Koetsukai, they just power burst. You see what I'm saying? And just grab their Gokus back that they didn't use, something like that. So I really wouldn't recommend you having a game plan to say I'm gonna shut out Hash with Koetsukai. Nah, the only black deck you can get away with it is probably Mecha Bird because they do have a black topo in their archetype. Let's see what other black cards we want to talk about. So we gotta discuss all these premier. This used to be broken, but let me not reminisce on the old days. Ding 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 ding. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, we talked about the top 5. So I also talked about Tomato. Let me get the chat in here. Make sure I didn't miss anything. Yeah, Make Your Bear is really good. Like I said, it'll keep black decks in check. So okay, cool. We're caught up on the comments on there. I hate how my computer does this at the touchscreen. Black also has a plethora of more floodgates, right? But the thing about it, they come in as the meta changes, I guess you can say. For instance, if Gogeta was ever a thing, the red Gogeta, where the one drops that bounce back from their hand, or not even the one drops, any cards, because there's cards in this game that just you play them and they'll come back at the end of the game, at the end of the turn. This stops them. This was it was a nasty little card, bro. I ain't gonna lie, it was a very very nasty little card, but unfortunately, it's no longer with us. But yeah, that was a nasty card that was here. Black has a. Let me see what else floodgates that we have. I'm trying to think of the current relevant floodgates that we have. Oh, another floodgate for black, specifically Dark Broly. Every Dark Broly player should have this in their side deck. Should be this. I don't know why you wouldn't have it in your sideboard. Where is this bad boy? Super Kamehameha. This makes sure baby matchups free because baby is really annoying to play against. It. They're not going to beat you anyway because you're swinging too tall. Like they'll never get to ready to rumble if they play it. The latest, highest floodgate they can get to is probably a Gohan if you're playing it against that deck correctly, and then you just bottom deck a card. You don't care. Like they lost a card. Yes, you're bottom deck one to do it, but then they're going to lose 2 cards to take the damage, and they're not going to keep losing cards from their hand in order to do anything crazy. So this 100% should be in all Dark Broly players thing, and not just Dark Broly players. If you have space in your sideboard, because you know your deck best, right? Not all decks, they may be similar, but not all decks are the same. Not everyone plays the same, so it's literally player dependent. But if you do have space, I would highly recommend you guys to check out Super Kamehameha because that's application like crazy. because a bunch of people just like to free play cards, and it gets really annoying, like especially when you get to blue. So you also have the Invoker Alvis stop, which stops the rival secret itself. Let's see what else we got. What else we got? What else we got? What else we got? Oof. R.I.P. the secret rare. Yeah. Okay. So let's move on to more generic black cards that do not only go in one deck. Ding, 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 ding. There's one more floodgate I want to show you guys. And this is for red green. Where is it? It's a 2-drop? Is it a 2-drop? I just need to put her name in because I know it's a Kai. It does it. There's a bunch of. Oh, it's a 1-drop. There's a bunch of floodgates, but I'll show you guys the relevant floodgates right now in this current meta. It's going to be a Supreme Kai time Disruptor. Essentially, this is for all those Piccolo Junior decks that run around like rampant. If they're going first, they get so excited. It's like, yes, I'm about to kill you. I'm about to do this. I'm about to do that. Because you can't interact with me. You can't do this. You can't do that. And you're like, yeah, that's what you thought, bro. You dropped the Supreme kind of time, bro. And they're not doing anything because they can't attack with that Piccolo. Now, I highly recommend you have a way to out that Piccolo because you time locking him it's not like doing anything. You see what I'm saying? But you time locking them with a strategy to out their board will set them back significantly. And they will. It's going to be hard for them to come back from a top 2 play and just make up for it like from nowhere. But this is a really good card as well that you could have in your sideboard itself to stop that play. Specifically, it has application to other decks, but specifically when that red green not King Piccolo, but a red green Piccolo Eradicated Junior, when the die run goes first, this, especially after sideboard, when you know you just won the game 1 and they're going first, this will stop them. So, and once again, it's not locked to a black deck itself. The only ones that are locked, like actual locked, are True Fighting Spirits. Now they're locked to not only black decks, but they have to be black Saiyan leaders cards. And it's not only it's black Saiyan leader cards. That's it. The beautiful thing I do want to show you guys with the black decks itself. Now this unfortunately is locked to black Saiyan leaders, so it only have application in decks such as like Dark Broly, Gogeta Zeno, the Mass Saiyan leader, the stuff like that. Right? Is going to be this bad boy right here. This. Boom, boom, boom. Really, really good. Ignores barrier and it warps the card. So let's say if you're going to get an Invoker, you manage to tap out Invoker because they use an extra card, and the next thing you know, they're trying to lure you into another attack by thinking they're tapped out. Like it's like they're trying to deceive you by giving the deception that they are tapped out, but realistically speaking, they have a big super combo in hand. You get to super punish them with this because it's like, ha, you tapped out. You try to like lure me into this trap, but literally, did you know? Did you not know that, hey, I have this Gogeta Fearless Fusion in my hand? And the beauty about this card is if you're playing a Black Saiyan deck already, you're 100% going to be having this card in your deck. I don't know if it's what the ratio is going to be, in my opinion, and for Jax and Dark Broly should be at 4, because there's going to be a certain time and point where you give damage from Dark Broly, and then you know, hey, they have to stop you. So why not, when they stop you, you tax them for stopping you for the turn. And then for Jax, this is a 4. I don't care if anyone says this is a 4 for Jax. Dark Power Black Man Saiyan is a 4 for Jax. This can be sideboarded because once again, the matchups that Dark Power Black Man Saiyan are not really. It doesn't really apply to that matchup. It's usually blue, but G, the True Fighting Spirit, just comes in and replaces it. So the 2 applications that this has is that it pairs up beautifully with. Now we can do by popularity. This Super Saiyan Vegeta, the Prince Strikes Back super combo. So many plays just come to mind because you're playing black. Now, you do have the access to this is easy board removal. Oh, where is he at? The Gogeta, the 6-drop Gogeta, right? The 6-drop Gogeta Fearless Fusion that I showed you guys just a second ago. To this guy. You have access to this guy. This beautiful, beautiful, beautiful guy. You have access to this guy. Don't play him unless you're playing Gogeta Zeno. But you have access to this guy. But speaking, this is really, really good in Black Saiyan leaders because black only Saiyan leaders, what happens is once this attacks and these guys are gone, you can literally get back 1 and 2 and just sit on them. If you're playing Gogeta Zeno, you even push a ticket even more because these guys become base 25k with your leader. You can even pump them up even more to 35k if you have the units on board. Like these guys become super beefy. But if you're not playing the Gogeta leader, you can only just get his swing out, you either draw it in the gate, or you just connect with a 20 or whatever you want to go to combo power on it. And after that, you tap one energy, and then you literally sit on 2 negates. Like imagine doing this against a blue baby player. You're like, yes, I finally out of this or whatever it is, they KO'd it because you were attacking on the good stuff. Next thing you know, you just summon this guy. You attack, and now you're just sitting on 2 true fighting spirits again. And it's like, whoa, what the hell just happened? And it's like, yeah, bro, like you're about to get wrecked. All right, let's catch up on some comments really quick. Make sure we're not falling behind. All right, cool. We're good. No comments. So yeah, this one is like pretty much the basis of black. I want to make sure I get all of this stuff before. Cause I don't want to get too specific into decks, right? There's other cards that I have to go through too. Okay, now the obvious choice, Supreme Kind of Time, is a lot of people's choices for Secret. Solid Secret, especially if you're playing Dark Broly, it'll out problematic units against any deck realistically has a problematic unison. It'll just out it. It's a 40k beater. The reason why I don't really promote this in Dark Broly is because I've never been able to attack. Like my issue with Dark Broly, without getting too in depth into it, because this is just a basic black card, black archetype like video, is the fact that I'll never attack because you're susceptible to violent rays. That's why a lot of cards I removed from my deck because the attack was never going to go off. At least there's other things like if you have this guy in your deck, it'll tax them if they still stop you. You see what I'm saying? But cards like this, it's just good for board removal and I guess to control that turn. But other than that, like I don't see uses for it. You also have this beauty of a beast right here. I think this is Bandai's reasoning for not making black that extra card negate from Battle Evolutions is super weird. Wish we had one, but this is also a great card. Like your opponent can never go all in. As long as you have an open energy with black, they can never go all in. It's like our version of Final Splash, right? Where it's okay, cool. You're doing all this good stuff. You're going for triple strike, for quad strike, with cell, for double strike. I don't care. I just take 1 life and I can't take damage for the rest of the turn. So it's really solid, man. Really, really, really good. Another great card that applies a tremendous amount of pressure with 0 requirement to pay energy is my baby right here, the SS4 Bardock fighting in space. Really solid card. I mean, it'll force pressure on, like really, really pressure. The deck, I think this will see the most, not most amount of play, but like will be most successful will probably be for Jax. Because once again, against Vajax, if you're still holding on to cards with Violent Rays, it's like so bad for you because what are you doing with Violent Rays in your deck? And they're gonna have to defend this guy. It's not gonna get stopped. It's not gonna get floodgated. You see what I'm saying? This will shine in Vajax. Like no lie, this will super shine in Vajax. Mecca Frieza, Broken Seal. If the meta ever comes down to it, where it goes back to like set 10, set 11, where you're stuck on archetypes, it becomes a god card. This pretty much becomes the best 2-drop in the game once again because it just shuts down an entire deck. If you like play a deck such as like Majin Vegeta, you play this and you call a 3-drop Majin Buu, you just like time lock them. They can't do anything for the turn. They're just gonna sit there and look at you like, well, what am I doing? So that's it for that. This is probably the best secret in the game. I said secret. Overwhelm in the game. I said secret because it's that powerful, but it's not a secret. But it's the best overwhelm in the game. This is going to require a card from your opponent regardless. They're either going to counterplay this card, or if they don't counterplay this card, your opponent's going to lose the board. If they don't lose the board, your opponent's going to lose cards from their hand. If they don't lose cards from their hand, they're going to take a 25k damage. If they try to out combo, they're going to give you at least 1 super combo plus a 5k. This guy is just, there's no downs to him. Like, at least when this guy, if he gets answered, it's rough because he just got answered off rip. The worst thing possible could happen for him to answer. It'll take 1 card from your hand regardless. Let me see. What else we got? This is really applicable in just Mecca Frieza in itself. This is really, 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 in my opinion, a must-have if you're playing Vajax and you're trying to spam out the new Gogeta TP promo. Now, if you do not have the new Gogeta TP promo, stay tuned because I will have an alternate build of what you can do to still be successful with the deck in itself. This is Bardock the Tenacious. It's a stun card that players use. It was cute, but in my opinion, if you're playing this, it's I don't know. It's just okay, cool. You're gonna attack one time with a battle card for the turn. It's the same thing as like where Nimbus is. If you have a like unison on board, you can still die. I personally don't want to give up my drop as well as tapping energy to still have the possibility of getting cracked on the next turn. It's really rough, like really rough in my opinion to play. It's not even a 30k for those Dark Roller players who do play it. Now, this was a zero cost, just overwhelm 6, 100%. Like, yeah, this card's busted. Like, just do what you gotta do, right? This kind of fell off of play because of the obvious reasons. There's a lot of stuff that interacts. Now we have this bad boy, Food of Dark Banisher, really solid. If you're not playing against blue, this is gonna 100% stick, unless you get cold bloodless, obviously, because bloodless is a secret. You can't do anything about that. Worst case scenario, they hit this guy with what, like a final flash, but I don't think they can. Can you find a flash a permanent? Something I have to check up on. But yeah, doesn't matter what it is. This guy is still a finisher for starting games, especially against Dark. Against not just Dark Broly, it's just against Black in general. This card hurts. This card really hurts. And this is the card why once again when you see I start talking about these archetypes, I think the like the Supreme Kai from set 13 will be nasty because if they're able to have these cards such as Food of Dark Banisher in play without it being over, it's just insane. Like without it going away at the end of the turn, it's going to be insane. Like a lot of people just can't answer that. This once again is just like when Coop asked me, my opinion, it's a solid card to invest in if it's still cheap. I'm not sure the price of this bad boy is or this bad girl is. If you could get this like the SR, because it comes in S1 SR. If you get the SR for like $5, place it for 20, I'd do it. Even if you were to get the SR, place it for 50 to 60, I'd do it. Because this card is still really good. Do not get it twisted. It's just not as good as I thought. But it's not broken. Let me put it that way. It's a great card. It's just not broken. This is a budget-friendly Migra. It's just rough. The biggest, I guess, upside to get to it is that it is a barrier, somewhat deadly defender-ish double strike card that you can use. This is the bad boy we were talking about before. That's why I said if you're playing with Jax, you need this to overwhelm. You grab this, and then from here, you just Union Fusion and put your pieces in. This is a game breaker for a lot of decks. A lot of decks, specifically if you're not blue. Like it's just both foos when they hit, they pretty much say this game is gonna end right here, right now. Yeah, that's it for the secret surprises that I'm gonna get into when I get into Mecca. You're like both the oh my god, you guys are gonna see like what I'm talking about when I get into it. This, guys, don't forget this is a card. Mirror is really, really good. Really borderline secret card that has deflect. A lot of people forget. This silver bullet is not as good as people thought. This is a great card for Dark Broly. Do not sleep on it. This got bought out for a reason. Let me see. I just want to make sure I touch on at least all the notable black cards. And the way they do it by popularity is really good because you can tell this is gonna fall victim to the same thing I tell a lot of decks fall victim to. It's things such as Violent Rage, right? It's a card. It is a card. Unfortunately, Dark Broly made Violent Rage a very popular staple among red decks. Just you have to have it in your deck. So yes, it's cool. You get to do all this good stuff. Number one, you're gonna have to be, I believe, what at 4 energy. Yeah, you're gonna be at 4 energy. It's a cool secret on paper, but it's gonna be one of those things that are like, okay, cool. What else can you do? This is also going to be a budget friendly option. I believe these are like probably max $5. It's board removal. You could if you don't have access to things such as Amigra or Gogeta, you could compare this with the best overwhelm in the game, which is this. The decks that are tall, such as Sync Shinron and stuff, you can take out Secret Identity because Secret Identity is not gonna hit those guys. So you just swap out your Secret Identities and then you put in your Bardock Fully Unleashed, and it's a perfect side option to it. The Power Ranger package is always a notable option, and from here, I just think it goes downhill. Yeah, it just goes downhill. I don't think these are any noteworthy cards. One honorable mention that I will say, well, actually two. One great card, and one honorable mention I want to say, this is the great card I was talking about, is going to be Bing! Heron's Leader is great card. Obviously, hopefully you guys know the real thing between this and the new Vegeta and Goku cards that when they get KO'd or removed from your battle area by your opponent's skill, they got a crit life. If you take their card, you crit your opponent a life. Beautiful card. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful card. Now, the card that I wanted to mention, which is an honorable mention, is going to be Supreme Kind of Time. So, the Supreme Kind of Time is not leader lock, do not forget, and it's not color lock. Once you have 5k or less, it's just a free super combo that does not draw a card, and it's also reusable, and you can recur it again with Power Burst. Um, yeah, I think I hit up on all the basic black stuff. Let me make sure you guys have no questions. All right, cool. Everything's the same. So yeah, I guess I'll leave it up to you guys to vote. Tomorrow I'll get into it with what decks you want me to start off with first. It's either going to be in my. I want to start off with Ajax. I ain't gonna lie to you. I honestly, not being biased, I think Ajax currently is the best black deck. The reason why I think it is, giving you guys a sneak peek on why, is because they could mainboard 1, 2, and 3 and use these things so efficient. It's not. It doesn't come close to a Dark Broly or what any other black deck can do by having all 3 of these in your main board off rip. Like off rip, guys. That's insane. Right behind Ajax, I would give it to Dark Broly. Under Dark Broly, I would say Mecca. There's a lot of black decks, right? There's a lot of black decks. I'm not gonna just say there's one best black deck, but the one that has the answer to the majority of the meta and its actual main board before you even side is gonna be Ajax. It's completely insane. I know you could just reoccur those floodgates with power burst. It's nasty. Matter of fact, I'm not even think I'm gonna let it go. I'll just make the video for Ajax first because I think that's a deck people really need to watch about because it's a scary deck, man. Like so I'm trying to think of a bad like blue, yes, but the blue decks right now that are playing, it's just what Blue Baby and Bojack. What other blue decks are there? Yes, you have the new Skillless, whatever it is that's coming out, playing all these free guys, those 20k guys for free. I'm trying to think if I like it in the Gohan leader itself, or do I like it in the Surge, not the Surge coup, but a Reboot coup leader, the Reboot Soul Striker leader. I guess time will tell to see what happens with that deck. But I ain't gonna lie, I don't think Vegeta skips a beat. Like, I don't think it hard skips a beat looking at those decks. Maybe Blue Baby, because Blue Baby, you have to actually sequence your stuff correctly because you would get punished. Because it's not like Dark Broly where you just give a free hand advantage and then swing through and go for a game. Um, yeah, just Blue Bay probably be your toughest matchup with Projects, in my opinion. Besides that, this is it for the basics of Black. Guys, stay tuned. I will come back tomorrow. Tomorrow's locals. So I'll probably have to make a pre-recorded video and then post it. But we will probably be live again. I think we're going to be live with the team because the team is going to be at my house because we're going to be getting ready for Pro Play Tour Miami. So we'll have a live Q&A in here. There'll probably be all up in the background, playtesting and stuff. If you guys want, we can actually stream our playtesting sessions if you want, because they'll all be here. I'm trying to think what else we can have. If you haven't pre-registered yet, pre-register. We're giving out TPs. We're going to, on day 2, we're adding, because a lot of people want a regular best of 1 event, constructed event with actual set 13 decks. So after round 2 of GOAT, we will start a best of 1 constructed event, meaning set 13 and stuff is legal. All the newest stuff is legal. That's what it is. We're going to play with the current up-to-date ban list post at the start of round 3, essentially, of GOAT. The start of round 1 for best of 1 Gunslinger will commence. They'll give out invites. I'm trying to think what else I want to miss out anything for you guys. Yeah, I think that's it for tonight, man. But tomorrow we'll start off with Ajax. The next one, Friday, U-How's gonna be here, so we can talk about Mecca Frieza live, and you could do Q&A live. And after we'll split the Mecha Bear with Dark Broly, so we'll knock out, I guess, the top 3 black decks. And yeah, if you guys want to see anything else, just always leave it in the comment section. I'll go back and read it. Or if you see the Facebook post, just make sure to comment anything you guys want to see on there. And then I'll always be sure to address it in the next session. With that being said, oh my bad, there's some new comments. Good friend, Team Food, Twitch account. What's up, man? Do you enjoy Swedish meatball? That's not. Say Among Us for $5. All right. Yeah. With that being said, we will see you guys. I'll upload the video and have it posted tomorrow. And Friday, once again, the team will be here and be live. We'll do a double segment of Dark Broly and Mecca Frieza. So stay tuned and see you guys next time.